don't bang time. 10 kilometers into the race, your sub-4 marathon dream feels closer than ever. Your lungs are open, your legs are light, and the pace feels effortless. But this is exactly where the silent killer is waiting to dismantle your sub-4 attempt. Most runners obsess over the wall at 32 kilometers, but the truth is the sub-4 wall is built right here in a stretch I call no man's land. This is where the initial roar of the start line fades into a haunting silence. The sun begins to bake the asphalt, and your central nervous system starts making promises that your muscles simply cannot keep. Today, I'm going to teach you how to survive the dark room of the middle miles with a tactical discipline required to join the elite group of sub-4 marathoners. The most dangerous part of no man's land for a sub-4 runner isn't physical. It's the psychological vacuum that happens when the crowds disappear. Between 12k and 18k, the spectators probably would thin out, the music probably would have stopped, and all you're left with is the sound of your own breathing and the repetitive thud of your running shoes on the road. This is where the dark room of the sub-4 attempt begins. When external stimulation drops, your brain's governor, that survival mechanism designed to protect you from pain, starts turning up the volume on your internal doubts. It will start scanning your body for reasons to quit. It will tell you that a sub-4 is too hard, that the sun is too hot, or you're simply not a real athlete. When the crowd goes silent, you must activate your internal sub-4 catalogue. This isn't about positive thinking, it's about evidence-based confidence. Stop thinking about the finishing line. The finish line is a lie at 15k. Instead, remember your hardest training runs. Remember those humid 5 AM intervals when nobody was watching. The fix: use rhythm locking. Pick a single sound, the breath of the runner in front of you or the steady beat of your own feet, and lock onto it. If your mind wanders to the pain, bring it back to the task in hand. Your task isn't to run a marathon. Your task is to maintain your sub-4 cadence for the next 60 seconds. Repeat this 60 times and you've conquered an hour of the race without ever letting the dark room win. It is the critical window between 10k and 20k where an invisible mistake, one dictated by ego and adrenaline, ends your marathon before you cross that halfway timing mark. I remember running on a coastal stretch at 12k during a humid marathon in Thailand, feeling invincible because I was banking 15 seconds per kilometre ahead of my 5-minute 41-second kilometre target. I thought I was being smart, but I was actually committing psychological suicide. By 30 kilometres, I wasn't just slow, I was a broken runner walking toward a finish line that felt 1,000 miles away. To run a sub-4 marathon, you must understand that the first hour is a chemical illusion fueled by adrenaline and cortisol, which creates a dangerous mask over your true level of metabolic fatigue. This is adrenaline debt. A high interest loan the body takes out from your 35-kilometre energy reserves that must be repaid with interest during your final hour of your sub-4 attempt. At the 10k mark, your central nervous system is still fresh, but your muscle fibres are already beginning to accumulate micro damage that your brain isn't reporting yet. You think you're actually cruising at sub-4 pace, but your heart is already starting to drift upward to compensate for the rising core temperature and the beginning of blood volume loss. You must perform the 2-beat Sub-4 Audit. Stop looking at your average pace and start looking at the relationship between your pace and your heart rate. If your heart rate at 15k is more than 5 beats per minute higher than it was at 5k for the exact same speed, your Sub-4 attempt is in immediate jeopardy due to internal friction. The fix: if that data is spiking, you have to be brave enough to drop your pace by 10 to 15 seconds per kilometre immediately for the 3-kilometre reset window. This allows your nervous system to catch up and prevents your heart rate from redlining prematurely. The runner who is brave enough to slow down at 12 kilometre is the only one who has the power to maintain a sub-4 pace at 40k. As you cross the 13-kilometre threshold, a subtle but devastating shift occurs in your biomechanics that can quietly drain the energy need for a sub-4 finish. This is where your running economy, the amount of oxygen required to maintain a 5-minute 41-second kilometre pace, starts to leak like a cracked pipe. Your glutes become lazy, causing your hips to drop, which in turn leads to a heavy foot strike and a lower cadence. For a sub-4 wannabe, every centimetre your hip drops is a centimetre of extra force your knees have to absorb, leading to a massive spike in energy expenditure. Perform the sub-4 body reset. Imagine your pelvis is a level bowl of water. Don't let it spill forward. Cadence check. If your steps per minute have dropped below 175, you are overstriding and braking with every step. The lean. Ensure you are leaning from your ankles, using gravity to move you forward rather than using your quads to push you toward your sub-4 goal. The fix. Dedicate kilometers 13 and 14 to silent running. If you can hear your feet slapping the pavement, you are burning sub-4 energy. Focus on a light, hot-cold foot strike. This biomechanical discipline during no man's land is what preserves your legs from the brutal combat of the final 7 kilometers. In a hot or humid marathon, humidity isn't just an annoyance. It's a psychological barrier that fundamentally changes how your body processes minerals during a sub-4 attempt. Just before we continue, a big thank you to all of the channel subscribers. And if you've not subscribed yet, don't forget to click on that subscribe button. In the next couple of days, we'll be introducing our membership options on the channel, where I'll give you behind the scenes exclusive videos, early access videos, and live streaming for members only. So watch out for that join button in the next few days and join the community down below. When the humidity is high, your sweat doesn't evaporate, which means your body can't cool down effectively, forcing your heart to pump more blood to your skin and less to the muscles, driving you forward to your sub-4 medal. I remember a training run in one of my first ever marathon training blocks, the long run, 32 kilometers, where I felt completely fine until kilometer 16, where a sudden lightning bolt in my left hamstring brought my sub-4 dreams into reality. I had plenty of water, but my sodium potassium levels had dropped because I had sweated out all of my electrolytes without replacing them. Your blood volume is directly tied to your sodium levels. As you lose salt, your blood becomes more thicker, making it significantly harder for your heart to push it through your capillaries at sub-4 intensity. Look for the salt mask on your face or kit at 15k. If you feel a gritty texture on your skin, your sub-4 attempt is reaching a critical tipping point. The fix: do not wait for cramp to occur. A cramp is total system failure. You must front load your sodium intake. Aim for about 250 milligrams to 500 milligrams every 5 kilometers, specifically during this 10 to 20k window. This ensures your muscles stay electrically charged and your blood remains thin enough to effectively circulate through the heat. Between 10k and 20k, your stomach is the most important muscle in your body because it is the gatekeeper for the energy you'll need to cross the sub-4 finish line. This is your final absorption window. Once you cross the 25k mark and your core temperature spikes, your body will begin to divert blood away from your digestive system to your skin for cooling, effectively locking your stomach. If you put a gel into a locked stomach, it won't digest later in the race. It will just sit there, causing the dreaded marathon slosh and eventual GI distress. You have to feed the sub-4 ghost of the final hour while your stomach is still willing to cooperate. Follow the sub-4 fueling lock with absolute military precision. 10k, high volume electrolytes to prep the gut. 15k, your primary high carb gel. 20k, pure water to flush and assist in the transport of those carbs across the intestinal wall. The fix: if you feel even a hint of nausea, do not skip the fuel. Instead, drop your pace by 5 seconds to allow the gastric emptying process to catch up. It is a much smarter trade to lose 15-20 seconds at the 15 kilometer mark than to lose your entire sub-4 dream because you ran out of fuel at 35k. You are no longer just a runner, you're a thermal engineer managing a high performance sub-4 engine. Use the double cup method. Use 1 cup to maintain your hydration levels and use the second cup as an external coolant. Pour it over your radiators, your wrists where the veins are close to the surface, and the back of your neck where your brain's temperature sensors are located. The fix: be a relentless shade hunter. You shouldn't care if it adds an extra 10 meters to your total distance. The difference between running in direct sun and shade can be an 8-degree drop in perceived temperature. That is the difference between your heart rate staying stable or drifting into the zone where your sub-4 pace becomes unsustainable. If you manage kilometers 10 through 20 with this level of clinical, tactical discipline, you aren't just reaching the halfway point, you are launching from it towards a sub-4 finish. The marathon does truly begin at 30k, but the permission to be in that fight is earned right here in no man's land.